And we're back, and you are listening to Villaincast, BJJ Anti-Heroes, with myself, Chris the Villain Pains, and Naqi, El Jefe, Arshed. And welcome to Reap the Week. Firstly, a thank you to our sponsors, the lovely patrons on Patreon. Thank you for believing in this work, and if you'd like to learn more about supporting this channel, along with receiving exclusive content, such as the new webinar series that we're doing, along with personal coaching, you can find out more via chrispainsbjj.com. Welcome back, Naqi.
Hello. Finally, it's been a while.
It has been a while. You look well.
I know, I do. Compared to the last few weeks, I look very well. And I've trained today after a while.
Yeah,
Good
you look
session. Feel loose.
You look relaxed right now.
Very relaxed. Life is good.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to catch you at such a relaxed time, Naqi.
Yes. No problem. Anytime for you, Chris.
Oh my God! Let's see how well this goes. I've been left alone for the past 2 weeks. And ranting, like old man that screams at clouds. I've just been ranting by myself. Do you know how? I know when we do it, maybe I fuck up the beginning once, maybe twice. Today, that was on you. We
oh yeah,
again.
shit! I lost my streak.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
today
you were doing perfect, and
I just couldn't stop laughing. I thought for some reason I found something funny. I don't know what it was now.
Dude, I thought, Jesus Christ, is he okay? Because you just turned around the screen and you're like, look what I'm watching, and you just pointed at your fireplace.
Yeah.
I was like,
no.
Oh no.
It was TV. I'm watching the UFC.
Yes.
The camera. I played the camera.
Betrayed you.
Yes.
But yeah, so but trying to do it on my own, it probably took me like 5 or 6 takes each time.
What?
Dude, it's so difficult just to get going. Like once I'm into it, but the amount of times I do a 5-minute clip and go, I sound moronic. So yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same without having you here, really. But I have saved a couple of little topics that I'd like to talk about, plus one extra. If you'd like to indulge me, sir.
Of course, why not? My pleasure.
Welcome back. How have you felt anyway? There's a cold, flu, COVID kind of thing ripping through right now, and
yeah,
it wiped me out pretty effectively as well. And when I came back, my lungs just felt shot. How have you felt today?
Yeah, first session back, man. After I think it was 10 or 11 days, I felt it. Lungs were proper on fire, man. But I reckon I'll get back into it dead quick because I usually do. So I'm not too fussed in that way. But that first session is always a hard one when you come back.
I think that's if you've had any time off jiu-jitsu, you've almost got to re-break everything.
Yeah.
your ribs are healed and your ligaments have started to repair, and you're like, no, what's happening? I'm becoming human again. We need to fix this. Yeah, I need to. I remember the first time I came back, but then I'm still having to re-break everything. Oh yeah, and again, so I did a session today, MMA session, gloves, pads, with a gentleman who's coming up to 30 years old with 24 years of boxing experience, and my ribs hurt right now.
When's he coming back to jiu-jitsu?
Well, he's essentially he is back. He's just training with me. But yeah, he especially at 7:30 in the morning on a Sunday, he hits hard. He hits hard at 7:30 in the morning. Oh my, yeah, bit of a rough one today. So I'm feeling a bit toasty. But I did mention this in the previous podcast. So I managed to screw up my foot. That's why I wasn't able to come down for a bit of last week. I trod on a rusty nail that went through the sole of my foot, which I wouldn't recommend it personally. So the nurse asked, when was the last time you had a tetanus shot? Have you had one in 10 years? I was like, no. I, it's, I don't really come in for them that often.
Mm.
But yeah, when was the last time you had a tetanus shot?
I can't remember. I'll be honest.
Exactly. Weird, isn't it? Like, it's just one of those things you don't normally go for until you stab yourself in the foot with a rusty nail.
But like, did he just not have the right shoes on or something, or did you
I was
just?
barefoot. It's,
Oh, okay.
no. It went through my shoe. It's
One of
ruined
them
a pair of
slip.
shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, rough. Anyway, I'm back. I did some kicking today. Didn't help because he just punched me to death.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm good. I'm good for our next session, and it's been a while, and you can tell, like, especially in this time of year, it does rip through. It does rip through quite a lot, and I think it's especially after COVID, everyone's more aware of
Yeah. Spreading
being
and they're staying
being
away.
healthy on the mats.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's important. Like if you're red or leaking in any way, don't come in. Like, fuck all those large posters that, like, if you see this, don't do this. Like, if you're red, leaking, or something else, fuck off. And cut
I
you
mean,
down
today all of
Wolverine
us are trained.
nails.
We were all like, we were just coming back. We were all snuffling a little bit and still trying to push it. We are all breathing deep, like after every round.
Dude, it's horrible. It's really, like, it's taking a number on the lungs. Yeah, it's but tomorrow's a new day. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have things to talk about. The little mailbag. I like how, especially with the little thing I put on my Instagram stories of, like, people sending in questions. It's become like a little, like, like Jimmy Savile, we'll fix it kind of thing.
You're gonna get it cancelled fully.
Again.
You can't use JS. You can't use JS.
can't use him. No, you didn't do anything. I stopped checking the news in the 70s. What's happened since? That's as far as I got on the BBC. Like, I'm trying to go for all the past seasons. I've only got up to, like, the 70s. Why? What happened? Is there something I missed?
Good job you don't watch the BBC.
I'm still catching up.
Mm.
I'm not liking the Thatcher character. She looks like an asshole.
Now you're going way back.
Yeah, no, around about the same time. Anyway, so one of the questions I had, I was like, I need to ask Naqi this. How does your game change depending on if it's gi or no gi?
Obviously,
Do you
the
do much
grips.
different?
No, not necessarily. My guard changes a bit. I favour guard a bit more in gi. The grips change a little bit because you basically have more handles. You've got more handles, you can attack, and more handles you've got to defend. And other than that, no, my strategy is always kind of the same. But like I say, I do prefer. I enjoy playing guard in gi. It's much more fun than in no gi because you can attach onto things much easier. But no, other than that, nah. I mean, I like bow and arrows in gi. That's one of my favorite things to do. Or maybe like a paper cutter, which I can't really do in no gi. But no, other than that, it doesn't really change.
Are these things that you feel that you can still pull off, like in the pre-structured gyms, like paper cutters and bow and arrows, or has it got a lot harder when the defensive postures came in?
Oh, it got way harder, of course, but you can still get there. You can still develop with timing. Like bow and arrows, you can catch here and there.
I think that's one thing that kind of we discovered when we started playing this preach shit is, and whether professionalism. I wasn't going to do it on the mic. So I remember, like, you were but a young butterfly when the preach shirt first showed up, and I was already a salty brown belt. And one thing that kind of was noticed was that because we were turning instantly on the chokes, like as soon as a choke hand came in, you turn instantly on the choke hand. If anyone listened to this, because I do see this popping up every now and then on the internet. about people still getting choked in these positions. And I'm like, well, you've got to understand that if you're in these positions, it's not a game plan. You fucked up. Like, don't be down there. But if you are down there, if you are down there, don't wait for them to finish you off if they've got a choke hand in. It's not a perfect situation just to chill in. And one thing we kind of realize is that there's two parts to it, pretty much in every gi choke. There's a choke hand and a break hand, one that stops you from turning. And most people are greedy and they go for the choke hand first. Which, if you just turn to like towards where the hand is pulling you, like don't turn into the choke. That's how you choke yourself out. But if you just turn instantly towards the hand that's choking you, most chokes will fall apart because no one works on getting the control first. And I think that's the other thing that kind of changed for us is that we learned to take control first, put in the break hand first, make it so no one can go anywhere. And then we start looking for the choke hand. And then they can't do anything. And so we eventually start getting the same chokes again, like you say, like paper cutters, bow and arrows, cross collars. I do love a cross collar. But it made me appreciate control first. Like I do a lot of lapels now. I do a lot of pinning people with lapels. So maybe we should do a video series on how to effectively do gi chokes with control first. Ooh, that'd be nice. We'll do that. I like that. That'd make me happy.
Let's do it. Let's do it. What's wrong?
Sorry, Naq. I can't hear you right now. I've pulled my... Sorry, that was my bad.
Are we back? Are we back?
Big feet and a long cable. Sorry, I don't listen to that. Did that make a noise?
No.
Oh, good. Thank God. So yeah, I'd like to do that, but getting control first and seeing what gi chokes will still work. So
let's do it.
I'll start bringing my gi down. You bringing the gi tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'll bring a gi tomorrow then. It'd be nice. Let's do it. I've even got the camera. We could just do a little bit of on the fly. Yeah. So I agree. Guard, dude. I know you like playing guard.
I know.
You're not helping people by staying there.
I know. I agree. Well, I only do gi for fun now. I don't think I'll be competing in it much. I'll just play for fun.
Nah, I think that, like you lead into our next question, is what's the fucking point in gi? No one cares.
Yes, but I honestly think it improves the defense because of the amount of handles you've got to deal with. They can restrict you in way more ways than in no gi. You can get pinned in different ways, and if you can get out of gi, like cloth holding you down, I think you can get out. Your no gi, I think defense gets better.
I do believe, and I do agree with you on various points of that. But I also think it makes you so fucking lazy.
Yeah.
Like if you in no gi, if you just deal with shit instantly, as you should.
I agree.
And make it so the grips never materialize. It's that helps your defense as well because you appreciate not allowing things to happen to you. And there's pluses and minuses. I do enjoy playing both.
Yeah, I mean it's fun. Gi is fun.
Weirdly, I do better in the gi than I do in no gi, but I prefer no gi. I just suck at no gi. Well, partially. I'm a good purple belt on a good day. Disappointingly. Which kind of goes on to the next thing is, and I like this, because we had a question regarding toxic culture in gyms. I kind of did that one. But I want to go through toxic BJJ culture. And I think, let's fucking throw this one out there. The IBJJF. Oh. I like how that one just settled. That was just nestled into your brain a little bit there. Like, what the fuck's he said? Like, yes, I'd say.
Where do we start with reaping?
No, I think. Oh, dude! Like, I didn't intend to open up such a can of worms so quickly, but here we are. I think this is gonna. All these other questions now, I might as well just delete them because we're not even going to get to them. We'll just start ripping into this bitch. So, yes, I think so. Remember when the Olympics happened in Brazil? When was that? Like 4 or 5 years ago? I can't remember. Was it pre
2014.
post? Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
Can't be. I'm gonna
2018 was Russia, I think, wasn't it?
Olympics.
I
No,
think so. No? Am I getting it wrong? Where's
no.
my
I think
phone?
it's
Oh, I'm
some.
using my phone.
Oh, you are using your phone. Wait, Jamie.
Sorry, could be 2016. 2012 was London, wasn't it? Olympics.
2012 was London.
I think then it was
2016
Brazil 2016.
was it?
I think so.
Olympics Brazil, because they had the, what was it? They had the issue where they spent loads of money on the infrastructure,
Yes.
and like to the detriment of like all the people in favelas and stuff like that. 2016. It was a
2016,
year
yeah.
after you started. There we go. So the whole thing
Mm-hmm.
about when it was going to be in Brazil, it's like, oh, maybe it's time that jiu-jitsu can, be at the Olympics. And I remember the conversation, God, that feels like so long ago, like now. Things have happened since.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and one of the things about that was how we cannot be an Olympic sport. We just can't. And so the issue with jiu-jitsu is, well, to be an Olympic sport, and people should correct me if I'm wrong here, but you have to have a world championship and be run by a non-governmental, non-profit organization. So, FIFA, I guess, counts. FILA for wrestling, Judo Association, whatever, IJF. But you think the problem is that our world championships is run by the IBJJF, who are a for-profit company, who are, well, owned by the Gracies. And you think when it comes to running a world championships, let's confirm those details. When it comes to running a world championships, you want to make sure that you're impartial. And the IBJJF is president is the co-founder of Gracie Barra. That's like Man United owning FIFA. It makes no fucking sense. And and it kind of works into their favor in that when you compete, you don't represent your country as you should in a world championship, as in every other fucking sport. You represent the team, which if you are, say, running on some sort of franchise model and trying to make money that way, you'd want to make sure your team is very visible in competition. And that's where all these stupid fucking rules come from about, only a second degree black belt can promote up to, or third degree now, and we change the rules on shit. Fuck you entirely. You are a for-profit organization owned by Gracie Barra. Who the fuck made you king? And that alone then just seeps into every fucking part of this. Is that we then have the whole, you can't train at different gyms, or
Oh yeah,
the all the other bullshit that comes along with the tribal mentality. Like, yeah, absolutely, represent a team and have team games and stuff like that, but there has to be a level when it stops, and you represent your country at games, and I think it'd make it a lot healthier. And then once you've actually had a world championship games, I think for 4 years or something like that, you can then try and qualify as an Olympic sport. But because they've got such a stranglehold on the world games, the Europeans,
yeah.
we can't. Sorry, it's done. Like, due to Gracie Barra, we can't be an Olympic sport.
That's it. Now you're gonna have Gracie Barra coming after you now.
Facetious as that is. Yeah, it's fucked. Like, because then you look, they're all got their own little teams like Checkmat and stuff like that. You want to represent. You want to be able to make money for their team.
Yeah,
Like, if you're just, if we went and represented England, you wouldn't represent Fighting Fit or Globetrotters or Gracie Barra or anything. You'd represent England,
England. Yeah.
United Kingdom, Great Britain, whatever. Yeah. So thanks, Baha. Thanks, Gracies. You've made it so this sport can't flourish. I mean, would we want it to be an Olympic sport? Maybe, but I think there's a level there where it's reductive to ask the question of, but should we be an Olympic sport? Like, I don't care if we should or shouldn't. The simple fact is we can't. Like, we've had breaks applied to our growth as a sport, and that means we can't easily tap into governmental funding and be part of schools and stuff like that. There's always going to be that limiting factor because, again, like after when that you mentioned London Olympics, the government wanted to throw so much money into improving the UK's sporting pedigree. Why would it throw money at a sport that's not going to appear at the Olympics?
Yeah, true. But man, like in schools, I've tried to get it into for a few schools, but they've always come back with, "Oh, it's dangerous. It's too dangerous. It's too dangerous."
But that's what I mean. As in, but we can't be taken as a serious sport because we haven't got that professional, not professional, like paid for, but that pure route through from grassroots all the way up to Olympic level for amateur.
Yeah.
It's had its brakes put on because of essentially the silly team notion and all the guff that comes with it. It's one of the reasons I will not support the IBJJF because it is a for-profit company and I couldn't give two fucks at all about anything IBJJF. Like, sorry. You are purposely holding our sport back. Fuck you to death. I like you there, like, yeah.
Yeah. IBJJF, man.
Oh, yeah. And it's frustrating, like, you call it the Worlds and call it Europeans and Pan Ams and all those various other things.
There's too many different names for different things, but it's always held in America. It's like, what?
The Pan Americans, I imagine, would be.
Yeah, but the Worlds are always in America, aren't they?
I know, exactly. And it's so frustrating. Like, we could, if that wasn't there, and you had, there was definitely a route, I think, for us to get through. Is if, again, this is just me theorizing in the air. If FILA were to like adopt us as like submission wrestling as a style of wrestling, like that would be a route through into World Games, etc. I don't think there's much appetite for it. Again, because there's so many for-profit organizations in this. Like the MMA model kind of like grabbed it and really didn't let go. In the ADCC, the main nogi we have all the different trials and everything, which is more akin to like a world championship kind of game. But then it goes to the Abu Dhabi Combat Club and all the money that comes with it. It's a for-profit organization again. It's a company just making, and it's so close, guys. It's so close. You represent your area, as it were, like representing the European trials, and we're almost there. Oh, we're edging right now. We're so close. Why? You're just teasing right now.
We can't go down that route anymore. We'll get dislikes again.
I don't know.
We'll get downgraded.
Dude, like, if you listen to something called Villaincast, like, kind of clues in the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, toxic part of BJJ culture is the fucking IBJJF.
Yeah, it's the biggest one.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
which I'm sure they do. I'm sure they do good things.
Yeah.
I look for. I mean, do you remember the scandal that was like, God? It's about 11, 12 years ago now. It
Mm-hmm.
turned out there was loads of people. Again, it's not loads, but being a bit hyperbolic there. Of there were I think Bushido did a story on it of like purple belts and brown belts being going to America. I think Vinny Magalhaes like blew the whistle on it or something. It's
Mm.
wild. It's about 11 years ago now. Of instructors going to America, being given gyms, and being told that their qualification, their black belt, their ability to teach is literally hinges on them like bringing in students and sending money back to the organization in Brazil. And if they argue, they just get like their black belt rescinded and get deported. It was something.
Bloody what?
Do you not know
That's
about
mad.
this?
No, this is the first time I'm hearing this.
Oh, I'm gonna have to find. I'm gonna have to like link the article. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's been a decade. I think I've been choked out and dropped on my head several times. So who knows how much of this is correct? But I'm sure it was something. It was something insane. Of there were black belt. There were color belts being emigrating into the US. I'm not sure how necessarily into Europe or the UK, but definitely the US and North America of being given a black belt and saying right, open up a school, and they wouldn't roll, they wouldn't like try and put their head above the parapet really, but they'd be sending money back, as like a franchise back to the head gym. And it was a case of you rock the boat, then we rescind your black belt and back home you go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Vinny Magalhaes was the whistleblower. Let's
Damn.
look up that story. I think we should employ Jamie, like a third person who sits on this podcast quietly, just typing in shit into a laptop, going, "Yep, Chris is wrong."
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder if we can get involved in that. We need a man behind the desk or a
Yeah.
woman.
Person on deck.
Person on deck, yeah. Someone who can just fact check us live. I don't want to give out wrong information, or do I? Who knows? Next question, super important question. I'll get back on track a little bit here before I lose it. How do you explain the logic of teaching takedowns? Because you're also a coach. You teach takedowns to people. How do you go about teaching takedowns in jiu-jitsu?
In jiu-jitsu, so a lot of people, I'm just explaining this a lot these days, in my last few PTs and one-to-ones, and even groups that I have. Because a lot of them are good at taking people down, but they can't hold them, man. And I'm like, look, it's not like wrestling, where our goal is just to make their shoulders hit the floor. We've got to be able to keep people down. And that skill will only come by you just constantly being able to take people down and holding them. So yeah, that's the logic for takedown for me. So I don't really, and also a lot of people waste a lot of energy trying to get like explosive takedown, but I always tell my guys to just find the openings, plan fight a lot, and just feint, and don't waste too much energy trying to get someone down, because you've got to hold them down as well, which takes a lot of energy. So I think, because somebody asked me the other day this actual question about why the wrestlers are just, are good at taking people down, and I had to explain the whole jiu-jitsu thing where, yeah, we've got to keep them down as well. We don't have to take people down and just, and then we've got to look for submissions. So it's not, that's the way I try and explain takedowns for jiu-jitsu.
Oddly enough, I've also had, I explained this yesterday in actually a private, is that we get accused of being a wrestling style gym. We don't have a wrestling class or a takedown session.
Nope.
Which
Quite funny that is actually.
We don't teach takedowns, and we don't have a wrestling class. And we get accused of being wrestlers. Like, figure that one out. But there was like, how do you go about then actually having the style of decent for jiu-jitsu wrestling that we do? And I'd say it's because we don't. So okay, average normal jiu-jitsu gym is you're going to do maybe 1 or 2 rounds from standing if there's space and you're feeling generous that night and energetic. And then for the rest of the night, you spend the time on the ground. And you don't bother getting up. And this is, again, I'm going back into the ranting at the clouds now about you should always stand up. I think it's also such a healthy way of learning takedowns, is because I remember Preet saying this as well. And I kind of ignored him at the time. Maybe I shouldn't have 4 or 5 years ago. Is he said that, if you want to teach beginners takedowns, don't start from standing, which I was like, that doesn't make any sense, old man. That doesn't make any sense at all. But I get it now of if you start, if you're playing from the ground and there's always that undulation of coming up and going down, it removes the inertia of that initial hard impact of a takedown. Like that intimidation factor of like trying to change levels, get in, and then, slam your weight through someone, is that you're already connected. And then you just mat return them into the ground, which is, considering how much we do that, very, very little injury, if any. I don't think I've seen one since we've been doing it.
No.
Of someone getting injured by that.
I think we do put them down nicely, don't we? We don't like slam them into the floor.
Yeah, we're not arseholes.
Yeah.
Like, that's
as soon as somebody goes in there,
anything.
it's just like a nice take down, like nice, get your hands to the floor kind of thing, not a full on slam.
Yeah, because you're dragging them. Like I said, there's no that inertia. You're just dragging them back into the ground again. And also because you're then doing maybe 10, 15, 20 takedowns a round. Instead of it being one takedown, that's it for your night, we're going to stay on the floor for now.
Yeah.
And it's always in a chaotic situation. You might be half on the hips and you think, I just need to drag this person back into the deck. That's it. And just doing that over and over and over again and try and keep your balance and try and take down people who are trying to keep their balance. And, with basic hand fighting that we teach and the basic stuffing and the postures and everything, that creates weirdly good wrestlers. And if you can just get in within a clinching distance of someone, people are really comfortable already doing takedowns, even though they've never done takedowns. They just get close and then they find their way to then drag them back into the ground again. Because they've got, after an average night of rolling, 60 takedowns. Or 6, like, something unreal. Like, you think, God damn it, a 2-hour session, you've done 30, 40, 50, 60 takedowns. You think, and you're not hurt from it.
It's good reps, quality reps.
Quality, and it's like, I think it's a very ecological way of doing it.
Because that's the buzzword at the moment.
It is. I'm trying to step away from it. I do. Parts of it I agree with, parts of it I think you don't need, and so... but definitely on that kind of front, I think it's very helpful. So yeah, I think when it comes to takedowns, explaining takedowns and teaching takedowns, especially in jiu-jitsu, and especially to beginners, hand fighting and posture, uber alles, generating good power structures with your body, making sure, you think, however you want to lift weights, you should be having the same kind of alignment with your spine during takedowns, because you're trying to lift a human weight at this point. And once you've got that, and the idea of just returning someone to the floor and dragging them by their hips down to the ground or tripping them up or whatever, do that multiple times around because you have that undulation. That's how you learn takedowns effectively. And for the first year, just do that. And you're going to have such good wrestling for jiu-jitsu. And that kind of leads nice into the last question, Naq. And thank you for giving up your evening to this.
No, it's all good.
Is jiu-jitsu for everyone?
No. I know before the video said yes, but...
Oh, you've changed.
Yeah, I changed because I thought about it, and I thought about it why. And I thought, why? Because you've got to be a certain type of human being to do it. It's not something that caters for everyone because it's painful, it's stressful, it breaks your heart, it does all the bad things to you, and not a lot of people have the bottle or even the courage. I mean, I'm not saying it's in this in a bad or a derogatory way, but it's just how life is, unfortunately. Like, not everybody has it. I mean, everybody should try it, because you never know. You might think you can't do it, but then you'll try and you think, oh yeah, this is for me. Because you never know. But I know I don't think it's for everyone. You can't just blanketly say it's for everyone. I think it's a brilliant way to, even if you didn't do any other kind of physical activity of, go but fitness training or bodybuilding or whatever. If you just did jiu-jitsu, I think you'd tick all the boxes. You'd have all the attributes. Like you'd have cardio, you'd have strength, you'd be flexible. It just sorts your body out, but also breaks it. It's weird, man. Jiu-jitsu is just a weird sport.
I think there's definitely a point of so the gym owner G. I've had this conversation with him before. We've both been around long enough now, and we've had so many people come for the gym over the years. I think like physically, anyone can do jiu-jitsu. Big caveat there of making sure that you are in a gym that is welcoming for every body type, and treats you as part of the team. I think that's wildly important. Johnny Buck said it one of the first episodes you ever did. No one ever stays at jiu-jitsu for jiu-jitsu. People stay for the environment and the social aspect. Jiu-jitsu is just a great side effect. Even Christian said like they were a drinking club with a jiu-jitsu problem. So physically, absolutely anyone can do anyone, can be physically capable of doing it. But mentally, I kind of know as soon as someone walks in the room of whether that person is stupid enough to stay. We have some fool who just like gets a bit of a walloping and goes, that was nice. And you're like, oh, you're a crazy person. Welcome. You're gonna get on fine here. And then, I remember we were chatting about, we had someone come for the room who wanted to be an MMA fighter. I think this already started to jog your memory.
Yeah.
I
don't want to mention any names.
I'm never going to mention a name. But someone came in, wanted to be an MMA fighter. They had aspirations at early 20s, wanted to be in the UFC. Quite well educated individual, paid for education. Okay, cool. Right. Let's go on the mats then. Good choice, starting with jiu-jitsu, because if you ain't going to enjoy this, you really ain't going to enjoy it when we punch you in the face at the same time. And I think he had maybe like a couple of light rolls, and his ribs felt a bit sore from the weight on them, and he was like, "Oh, this is a bit. I think that's enough for me today. Yeah, this is uncomfortable." And he was like, "Don't worry, I still want to be in the UFC, but I'll see you next time." Never came back. And I think he then showed up at the kickboxing class, which bad plan. And I think he got hit once. And he was like, "Oh no, I think actually I'm more like I've done grappling with Chris. I think I'm more of like a grappling style MMA fighter." Then G said to me, I was like, "The kid's done like half a session with me. Like, he ain't done anything." To say he's trained with me, like, no, I don't know who this kid is. But then, like, say, so you have this individual. It's not like he's, okay, fine. Like, pain isn't for everyone. Suffering isn't for everyone. That's absolutely fine. I have no problem with that. But then you have some people like yourself who walk in and you literally have some maniac with a beard kneeling on your eye socket. And you're like, yeah, do it again. And you're like, oh, you're mad. Cool. And that's literally the defining characteristic is, I mean, obviously don't openly torture new people to see if they're mentally strong enough.
No.
But it's I don't torture anyone when they first come in. I'm always super friendly, and I say to them, look, we're going to be nice to you. We want to stay on top. That's it. And everyone knows you're new. Everyone's friendly here. Everyone remembers their first time. No worry. But you know in yourself that this is painful. Like, this isn't for me. I'm not a person who enjoys suffering.
Yeah.
And then you have those who are just a bit unhinged, and they go, fuck yeah. Like, yeah, this sucks. Like, oh, you're kneeling on my IT band. Fantastic. Do it again. And you're like, wow, you're mad. Yeah. So after so many years, you can kind of almost see that glint in their eye when they first walk in, like, oh, you're crazy. Like, this is going to be fun.
I love this.
Like, You just look at them and think you're going to be a black belt one day because you're
Yeah.
just too stupid to leave.
Yeah.
That's essentially it. So I mean, I'll definitely go do like because this is a response to a friend of mine who's posted on Instagram. I'm going to definitely do like a more serious version of this. I think jiu-jitsu physically is everyone can do it.
Yeah.
Mentally, reserved for very crazy people who don't mind a bit of pain in their lives. And anyone can surprise you on that front.
Yeah.
But I think it's I think when it comes to doing the moves, like I've said this before, is NFL, if someone Matrix style downloaded Tom Brady into my head, I'm not going to be Tom Brady. Same with Michael Jordan, LeBron. If someone downloaded Simone Biles into my head, and I thought, right, I've got the power of Simone Biles now, I would split the fuck out of my body in half. Like, I would explode and implode at the same time if I tried to do anything that Simone Biles does. She's a fantastic gymnast. But if you downloaded a black belt jiu-jitsu knowledge into my head, if I wasn't one, I think I'd actually be pretty capable. And that's like, bar athleticism in some points, but I think you could download a black belt into someone's head and they'd be semi-capable at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you to
Even without the physical attributes, like you'd beat the average human being quite convincingly, like without the.
exactly,
So yeah, 100%. There are black belts like that. Unfortunately, like sad to say, but
yeah, it's definitely a mental thing. Like if you understand the aspects of jiu-jitsu, you could do it. Like it doesn't require much in the way of flexibility or you need some hand-eye coordination, definitely. Like be able
yeah,
to know where you are in time and space, bit of proprioception. But other than that, like no, you can definitely just download jiu-jitsu into your head and just be capable of it.
yeah. You can
I
black
think the
your
only
way through jiu-jitsu as long as you understand the concepts and stuff.
I think the only thing that happens then is that to think that is jiu-jitsu for you and are you capable of doing the moves, I think it's more the teaching is wrong. And I can go back into the whole conversation again that most, what's the criteria for being a jiu-jitsu coach? Be a black belt. What's the criteria for being a black belt? Be a badass who hurts people. Like, that's not, like, you might get lucky and come across like, two things which are, it was always one of the things about, being in the fire service. And I like ragging on the fire service now because I've left. Is that you never move laterally in the fire service. You don't move in from the side, like into a managerial role from like somewhere else. Everyone starts at the base level. It's quite militaristic in that way. Like everyone comes in as a firefighter and you climb the ranks. And so, but your ability to spray wet stuff on hot stuff doesn't necessarily dictate how good you are at managing people. And so you'd have a lot of managers which could have been amazing firefighters. They knew their way around a good breathing apparatus, but their ability and they could maybe manage incidents. They understood all the dynamics of an ever-changing situation, but their ability to manage people, fucking wank. And like, because it wasn't one of the criteria. Like you're bringing people up from that. It's the same kind of thing in jiu-jitsu. Like we all start as white belts, and then eventually some wanker rises to the top. But their ability to do jiu-jitsu, fantastic. Their ability to manage people and coach, it's an accident if that exists at the same time. And it's the exact same with that. Is that if I had a good manager that could like really like get in and understand people, like this wasn't intended. Like you're not here because you're good at this. This is a fucking accident. This is a coincidence. I think you can say that about most industry, but definitely in jiu-jitsu. And so it's everyone can do jiu-jitsu. It's our ability to download that knowledge into your head is how good are we at downloading it into you. And if we're wank at it and we don't care, then
you've got no chance.
I saw a horrible story on Reddit today. Well, I was on Reddit. Did I hate myself today? Maybe. About a certain ADCC champ who, I think some lower belt asked him for a role at seminar and he just crushed this and just battered this guy in. And I'm just like,
bad, sad.
How is that a coach? Like this person's just done a seminar. Like they're being paid for their coaching ability. and they just, a student has just said, "Hey, can I train with you?" And you're like, "The fuck you talking to me for?" And you batter them. Let's put
Wrong.
that in the
Completely wrong.
toxic part of BJJ culture. Yeah, it's a bit gross, isn't it? It's all by accident. How you feeling, dude?
Feeling good, man. Feeling good. I'm glad I'm back to training. I'm just glad I can go back to my routine now.
Glad to have you back on here.
Yeah.
It's not been the same. Like sitting there with this screen, just me on it, and like answering questions. Yeah, I love this podcast. Like, we're like, this is our 43rd episode, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, sick.
40, we came back at number 15. We're at 43 now.
Nice.
This has been consistent every week since May.
I like it.
Dude, I'm really enjoying it, and the numbers are good, and people are listening and engaging. I'm like, wow, this is so awesome. And you're an integral part of this. You're a part of the team. We are the chief and the villain. And yeah, glad to have you back. I mean, fuck the internet. Fuck them for taking you away from me.
Fucking, they took the piss, man. Like Virgin Media, I'm telling you. I'm told them I'm moving home, and they flipping cut me off, man. On the wrong date, and then I've got no internet at home. It's middle of half term. My kids ain't got no internet. You know what I mean? I'm like, fuck. Got more stress. I'm already paying a lot to make a move, and now I've got to get some babysitters. So I said to Virgin, mate, you took the piss.
Dude,
that's nothing.
That was like throwing bread to pigeons. Like I knew the pigeons were coming. Like,
you had to get me started. You had to get me started. You just wanted to go on a rant.
It wasn't even like I had like a big loaf of bread just throwing bread to you. It's just like a little bit out of a bag, just like
no. It's been stressful. I've been ill, and I've been in the middle of this shit whilst everything's been going wrong. Like little things like that. I'm thinking, why are you making my life harder than it is right now? I need to get through this. Man, I'm telling you. But to be fair, it's all good now.
I was actually thinking about this earlier. I think I might have been in the gym while I was driving. I can't remember. But I thought this is like, since I was thinking about Josh McKinney and his podcast and the I Suck at Jiu-Jitsu show, and he's kind of jealous that I have a you like to talk to, because he just rants on his own half the time. But I was like, I think I'm going to be talking to him again soon on his podcast. And after doing this for like half a year now, I find that I am more centered in my own opinions because of like talking about ideas so often in this kind of format of view. Listening to people, understanding different points of view, it's great to be able to communicate with people. And yeah, this is like therapy, man. It's like some sort of weird therapeutic session, like just being able to sit down and air grievances like this and bounce ideas.
Talk about jiu-jitsu. My jiu-jitsu girl's depressed.
I miss you in the jiu-jitsu way, like miss rolling and miss training. Like I'm looking forward to christening the new cage wall tomorrow with you.
Oh yes.
But just these therapy sessions, man, it's fantastic. I feel so relaxed right now. This has settled my nervous system. Is released some energy, relaxed me. It's nice. I feel like I'm asleep now.
Good.
This is nice. Thank you for your time, man.
No problem.
Like, you look relaxed before you even came on here.
I am indeed. I'm a problem solver.
Well, it is late. This has been fantastic. Thank you for coming back on, Naqi. And
no problem.
Thank you for everyone sticking around for Villaincast for 2023. It's been glorious. See you next week.
Yes, see you next week.
Have a good night, Naq.
And you have a good night. Ciao.